Does your kid's ADHD look completely different from other kids? And is it making you wonder if you're even dealing with the same thing? In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different brain-based patterns researchers are seeing and how you can start recognizing which one your child fits most. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Dody from Dody Chiropractic Center for Wholeness. We work with families dealing with focus, overwhelm, and regulation challenges all the time. And if you've ever tried something that's worked great for another kid, but did almost nothing for yours, this is probably why. A large brain imaging study looked at over 1,100 kids and found that ADHD may not be one single condition. What they saw were 3 distinct patterns in how different parts of the brain were communicating, especially in areas tied to attention, emotional regulation, impulse control, and working memory. They also found differences in how key brain chemicals like dopamine and serotonin were functioning within those patterns. So instead of one problem, it's more like 3 different wiring patterns that can all show up under the same label. Type 1 is the child who has mix of everything: focus issues, impulsivity, and big emotional reactions. In this pattern, the brain's regulation centers are working overtime. The study showed that more widespread disruption across multiple networks, which means the brain gets overloaded quickly. That's why these kids can go from calm to overwhelmed really fast. And it's not just behavior, it's capacity. So, what you might notice at home are things like big reactions to small things, trouble calming back down once upset, and sensory overload or feeling too much. These are the kids where building regulation and calming the system is huge. Type 2 is the more hyperactive, impulsive side. Here, the research showed more targeted changes in the brain's impulse control circuits, basically the brake system. So the issue isn't energy, it's control over that energy. What you might notice are things like constant movement, interrupting or blurting things out, acting before thinking. The encouraging part is this pattern often matures over time, but they still need support to help that system develop. And type 3 is the inattentive type. This pattern showed more changes in the brain areas responsible for working memory and sustained attention. So it's less about behavior and more about the brain not holding onto its information well. What you may notice is daydreaming or zoning out, missing instructions or details, starting tasks but not finishing them. This is one that often flies under the radar, especially in kids who aren't disruptive. This is the big takeaway. If the pattern underneath is different, the approach has to be different. Otherwise, you're just guessing. And that's where a lot of frustration comes from. That's why in our office, we look at actually what's going on underneath the surface. We're asking, how's the child's brain regulating? How is the nervous system functioning? From there, we build a plan around that, whether it's gentle chiropractic care, which helps reduce interference in the nervous system so the brain and the body can communicate more clearly, or neurofeedback that helps train the brain's specific patterns so focus, regulation, and calm become easier, or maybe functional nutrition that helps fill in the gaps, whether there's nutrients or inflammation, that can really affect how those brain systems are working. So instead of chasing symptoms, we're supporting the system that is driving them. Here's something simple that you can start doing right away. For the next week, just start noticing patterns. When are things worse? When are they better? What happens with sleep? What happens with stress or overstimulation? Even that alone can start pointing you in the right direction. If you're watching this and thinking, this actually sounds like my child, the next step isn't to guess, it's to get clarity. That's exactly what we do in our office. We take a deeper look at how your child's brain and nervous system are functioning and then map out a plan that actually fits them, not some generic approach. So if you're ready to stop wondering what's going on and get real answers, schedule a free consultation with me. We'll sit down, talk through what you're seeing, and help you figure out what the best next step is for your child. You don't have to keep trying things blindly. We can help you make sense of it.